Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. Look on the screen, looks like serious poverty, and some people really like it. What I want to talk about really brief is one thing that's going to contribute to the poverty when they're saying by 2050 that black wealth is going to be reduced to zero. Um, Given how things are going in this country, it'll be a lot faster. But one thing that's going to be a contributing factor that a lot of people may not have realized is going to be the J factor, the jealousy factor. Let's go ahead and get to it. The most dangerous thing I think is going to be a poverty mindset and the jealousy. So check this out. This is why you have builders and you have people that's just going to be existing. So a friend of mine told you about, she's going through we're close, she's going through a divorce. So basically and the sister and I like really super close, my best friends. So I'm friends through my best friends, her sister, going through a divorce. And so she already had an attorney picked out. At the last minute, she decided to go ahead and go with a different attorney, a lovely black lady from the community. And I'm being very nice. And she chose her on a referral. So guess what's happened? So she tells her little backstory. Basically, they have she's married, went through divorce, they have one child. They both have assets before they got married. Okay, she and the husband. So they do pretty well. Their net worth, especially with the money's pretty much tied up in real estate and also cash and investments. So uh, I'm going to say on a low end about 1.5, somewhere in there. So they're doing okay, quite well. But what happened was the reason for the divorce is the marriage deteriorated, and basically the husband, to try to punish her, he wants to be in control like all the time. He's a little older, so she decided to go ahead and just divorce him. So what he started doing was like cutting the money off. He stopped paying the mortgage. She's been paying that mortgage by herself for years, okay, paying it by herself for years. And so it's very selfish. She's like back and forth from his place to her place, to their home share together, but she's been paying the lion's share of that mortgage. So fast forward, we're now here at the divorce, and she needs to get a divorce attorney. She hires a black woman through a referral, tells the lady, okay, so here's the point. He wants the house. But I've been paying for the house all this time. Here's the proof. And it's like she's been paying like for it's crazy. I'm like, I was surprised. She should have probably been filed, but hey, they have a child together. She's been paying for 10 years. You got to be kidding me. 10 10 years. She had a place before, but that real estate property is being leased out. So she tells the attorney, she's like, here is a receipt. I've been paying for the mortgage. Ask him to pull a receipts. He's not going to have any receipts, okay? She's got all the receipts. So basically, she still, they were both kind of in the house, living there. She's like, so basically, there shouldn't be a 50-50 split. Okay, because I've been paying the lion's share. He's been trying to punish me, yada, 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 yada. They've been going back and forth in the marriage. So she gives the attorney all like the receipts, what have you. And she's like, ask him what does he contribute toward our child? Ask him where's his contribution. There isn't going to be one. She goes, okay. So they go to court and they have a hearing. This is the initial hearing, so this is not going to be or we're at the final divorce decree, not even so. So they go to court, and what the heck do you think happened? She said that they went to court, and it was like, yeah, how'd it go? We're thinking, okay, when is he going to like really get out? He's got to go. So we're thinking, he's going to be up out of there, bada bing, bada bing. She says she went to court, and guess what? The attorney, the black female that she hired, would not use any of the information. She's like, hey, show this to the judge to show, hey, that I've been paying. He's been paying nothing. She's like, just wait. She goes to court. She said the lawyer stood there silently and stood there in front of her face. Don't forget she's retained her. Stood there in front of her face and agreed with the other party and didn't fight for it, did not present any other evidence, just stood there. She's like, show this to the judge. What are you doing? I got this. And she says she literally stood there before her very eyes, agreeing with the opposing counsel. Do you hear me? Agreeing. Ergo, guess what happens? Whatever he said went, and now she was told to get out of the house, to leave the house by the first. Because he said he needs to stay there, that he's also put money into the house, with upgrades, what have you, and that he has to conduct business in town, and that his location, it's too far out. I'm like, I can't believe. She's like, she literally stood there and said nothing and just agreed with opposing counsel, and now she has to get out, and we were all shocked. I was shocked, but then I thought, stop. Am I really, am I really, really shocked? No. Two things. That's why when when I, and it is what it is. Some people don't want to hear the truth, but I'm not going to just play games with you and sugarcoat it. That's why a lot of rich, wealthy people, when they start getting a lot of money, they start dealing with other people. Why? There's so much jealousy. And she was like, I can't believe it. And it's like, are you kidding me? And I told her, I said, this doesn't surprise me in a way. I said, because you want to know why this is your attorney. She sees your finances. She sees your bank statement. She sees what you do for a living and the kind of money that you are bringing in. She sees you've told him about his property, the property that you had before your marriage, and now you have this house. She sees what he does for a living, his business, and she sees what you do for a living. You're probably making more money than her, and that's a jealousy factor. And that is why a lot of rich black people a lot of people that want to be professionals and get things going, that's why we can't deal with our own because of the jealousy factor. Can't work together. It's going to be some jealousy somewhere. That is why a lot of our people that do become successful, they just go ahead and move around because you can't do the helping hand. Let me try to pull you up and let you make some money. No, because we don't want it. We have some people who are so ignorant, all they can concentrate is on, oh, look what she got. Look at her setup. I said, she may be a attorney, may be drowning in debt. I bet she's probably a whole lot cheaper. And you thought you were helping a woman. This is one reason that the poverty of the black community will, I think, be at zero as predicted by 2050 is the jealousy factor, and especially women. You wonder why other people can work together and pull together. This is a group, and it gets to a point you don't get upset about it. They can make everybody rich except their own. They can make any and everybody rich. So that right there, yeah, poverty is a choice through self-hatred. This is a contributing factor. Don't know how to work together, build together. You talk about Black Wall Street. Listen, the only reason that they built Black Wall Street is because we didn't have a choice. We had to deal with each other. Let's talk about that. We had to deal with each other. It was less humiliating. So this here, a contributing factor that's going to contribute to the poverty rate, it does each and every time. Just the jealousy and cannot get along with each other in the group. Everybody's pocket watching. I pocket watch too. But we will pocket watch our own and try to make sure we do something to their detriment. Another friend of mine reminds me of the accountant. Same thing. Oh, a lady from the big C. He gets a tax bill. What's this? It's a letter. He filed his taxes. Now they're saying he owes $200,000. He freaked out. $200,000? Calls the accountant, calls the accountant. He cannot get a hold with accountant, Miss Professional Bonquifa. He calls her and he emails her for weeks, cannot get a hold. And I said, well, listen, you emailed her, you've left a voicemail message, very detailed. She's not responding back. I said, she probably knows what she did. The money that you make. Yeah, this is the accountant. What did he do? He ended up having to call someone else outside the community who looked over and said, hey, no worries. I understand what happened. This is what happened. Looking at your tax return, and here's what we can do. And he went from $200,000 that was owed to $25,000. He paid it and kept it moving. But the question is, why did she not call him back? He said, hey, there's a mistake been made. What is it? Why did she not call him back? And you wonder why. Again, a lot of rich people, the stories go on and on. I had one. I was going to the accountant for years, not a problem. We're just doing great, professional. Then he hired someone else, and it was an older black man that came along, and he was doing it. And I had property at the time, and he was like, "Oh, you doing this?" And I said, "Hey, something's kind of off about this." He did the same thing. He made. I'm like, but the numbers just aren't shaking out. And I happened to go over it, and I said, something is just not right. So I went over the same thing, and I had to go back. Next thing you know, I had a lot more money coming in. He didn't want to acknowledge that I was a property owner. He was like, no, no. I own this property. This right here, these are deductible. It's not a rental. You can check the records. It's things like that that also contribute to the poverty factor. Again, a community that can build for everybody else, but you can't build for yourself, then that poverty, for those that participate in that kind of behavior, that poverty is earned. Enjoy it. But yeah, that is a contributing factor. And so you look up, then you wonder why people that make all this money, when things happen, they're going to a whole different community. Gee, I wonder why. I don't wonder why, I know why. So now he's having to go ahead and retain new counsel. It was just crazy. She said she refused to submit the information to the hearing. Couldn't believe it. She said she refused, and she was agreeing with the other party. Unbelievable. I said at that point, I wish what she could have done is interrupted and fired her on the spot and let the Your Honor know, yeah, I'm going pro se. As a pro se litigant, I'm not firing my attorney. And you would have did better presenting your darn self. Has to get out of the house. Again, it's like, why would she refuse to present the information? What the heck you show up? Paid her for what? So she could agree with him? You could. That's crazy. I said, I just wish you would have fired her on the spot and just went as a pro se litigant. You couldn't do any worse. And this is what you're paying for. The jealousy is there, and it's only there to the detriment of the community. So yeah, one contributing factor is going to be predicted at zero by 2050. It might be that by next week. Hopefully not, but I'm being facetious. But those are things like that that have to be addressed and dealt with. I guess it continues on and on. It's like, wow, there are just too many cases. Too many cases of it. Another friend of mine wanted a property. The guy was willing to pay 400K for it. And oh, it came to be the sister church lady. Yeah, to hell with her. The best you're gonna get is 250. He said, oh no. He's like, He said, it's a certain amount of money. So it turns out the guy was willing to pay a lot more money for it, and she just refused. So that right there, he just walked away. He says, no, I'm not selling it for that. Then the guy approaches him directly. Guess how much he had offered to pay for the property? 400,000. She didn't even try to negotiate. He's like, I'm giving you a good offer. What is the issue? The issue was Miss Bonquifa. That's the best you're gonna get. You need to go ahead and he's like, no, it's worth more than that. It's worth more than that. The guy really, really wanted the land that bad. And she tried to stick him within the two range. And come to find out, the man was willing to pay the full ask. End up getting somebody else, and the man paid the full ask. He paid the full $400,000. Again, what can we chalk that up to? You're not going to tell me she knows numbers. She doesn't understand numbers, so then why the heck are you in real estate? But yeah, a contributing factor. So the poverty train, oh yes, a lot of them love it. Oh, they love it, they like it, and that's why they're on it. Have fun with it. But it's things like that that need to be addressed. I wish those kind in the community, I wish they would just disappear and go completely out of business, go and live on Mars. So the ones that know how to build and can get along can do that. But yeah, that is going to be a contributing factor. It's a jealousy factor. And guess what? You'll have this on the screen. Third Ward in Houston, you'll have this on the screen. And then we want to holler, woe is me. In some cases, the poverty is desired and the poverty is earned. And for those that think that, I hope you enjoy it. No sympathies, and I'm out.